Hello everyone, and welcome back to Lords of the Fallen. For today, I'm showing off the strongest build I have run this particular patch. And as you'll see why in this clip, it can absolutely shred players, and Smite being able to break posture and allow me to take Grievous strikes is absolutely ridiculous. And I love it. And so being perfectly transparent and not trying to clickbait you, what does strongest mean? This build is the one where I would say I have, regardless of what the enemy setup is, that I feel like I have a path forward to victory, that there isn't anything that I can't deal with, whether it's a little lag, whether it's two guys with big swords, or whether or not it's one of the meta setups or fast weapons or even status stuff. I feel 100% that I have a path to victory. Now that being said, I still have a failure to execute chance, and I can still absolutely get my butt handed to me. By no means is this setup invincible, but against the big poise, big swords, triple aura buff meta, it is. I feel like it is particularly strong, and specifically, I'm using the Abyss Staff Halberd, which is, I believe, combination Smite and Bleed buildup, because it has sweeping attacks that a bit more so than Pieda's Sword, which is probably the weapon of choice for the meta in 1v1s, because it has higher Smite buildup and faster attacks. And although the weapon buffs are incredibly powerful, I'm not running them just because they take a while to set up, and I would much rather have more versatility in my AoE spells. So the spell suite I am running is Sanctuary, Aureus Judgment, Radiating Orb, and then kind of in flux between Consecrate and Radiant Sentinel, as well as the uh, beam of the channeling beam of light. So with all of those spells, I have ways of, again, just applying lots of pressure and doing some very silly things. And as you can see, Sanctuary clears your status bar. It is the only thing that is not a Heavenly Vial that can clear status buildup, which is absolutely ridiculous. And I'm running the Shield of Piercing Light, and I have 4 stacks of mana regen and 1 stack of health regeneration on this build. It is very, very strong in terms of longevity, because I can just keep pumping out spells really, really well. It is absolutely fantastic. And as that one showcased, like, 1v2s absolutely are manageable because I can just throw a big spell and chip people down. It might not do as fast of damage as Graveyard Fog, but because it deals holy damage, it can break, these spells can break withered health, and it's wonderful. The armor, having a heavy shield again is important because sometimes lighter weapons can bounce off of it, and yeah, like I said, you could easily run this with Pieda's Sword, but I personally like the Abyss Staff because it has better options for when you're fighting two dudes of just being able to swing it, and it deals a little bit more poise damage to break some of the power stance setups. And the armor, I was fluctuating a little bit between the Calrath medium armor and I think it's I can't remember. No, Stoneman's armor is the one that I settled on for later, and Stoneman's armor, just having the extra poise was really useful. I probably could have had a helmet that I liked better, but I like it. I like the eyeballs for whatever reason for this game. Um, yeah, there's just a whole lot to talk about, and especially with the builds that have a ton of buffs, one weakness is they really lack ranged combat versatility. So they can't really pressure you as well from a distance. If you can create some space and get a few enemies in there, you are relatively free to act however you want. It is pretty crazy. And this is a rematch against those two. As you can see, we're in Brahma's Castle in a pretty empty part of it, and they waste no time. They are charging me head on. But as you can see, they don't, well, the guy with the Inferno setup definitely has more ranged options, but they don't have a ton, nearly the same amount of ranged pressure that I do. And this is a 1v2, and I'm the one who has the spell pressure. And I'm not running... Okay, maybe Aureus Judgment is ridiculous since it's been nerfed in every single patch that I've ever read it get updated on. But, like, I am one person and I have the spell power of, like, swinging at two people. This is absolutely ridiculous that builds can hamstring themselves to not have this type of pressure. Like a crossbow with twisted bolts would theoretically have more pressure because they could just stand, aim at me, and I think they have they threw down Consecrate, and I took Consecrate off because it just didn't do enough damage for 1v2s. Unlike Graveyard Fog was substantially better than Consecrate. Still can be useful, but not nearly as good as Graveyard Fog or Radiating Orb, just being able to move forward. So yeah, but again, like, this is not, like, this build is level 110. So it does not have, like, infinite starting mana, but it absolutely has enough to be able to cast and give me time to regen with the 4 stacks of regen. And because I'm not using aura buffs, like, my damage is very steady, unlike some of the other builds that run out of steam. This one doesn't. I don't have to take time out of attacking in order to rebuff in order to get all of my damage back up. And the guard break attack is just ridiculous. Like, I double hit them, and I did not appreciate them just running full steam already pre-buffed at me. So they got a nice healthy point down there. And Big Richard of the Roman Empire, who is running meta, forgets that you have to sprint to get out of Aureus Judgment, and he is using Sword and Board with Pieda's sword, forgets that I can break his posture, and completely dies. And also the Roman Empire doesn't exist anymore, so point down for you too. So as much as I do still appreciate everybody playing, because it's been, Lord's PvP's been fun. I'll admit this has been like footage from a couple weeks ago because I was on vacation, and I've also been busy working on MS Pain stuff and Slay the Spire 2. And like, here's an the Inferno equivalent setup of like the meta aura buff, where you have, actually it's combination Umbral Inferno, because those are the poison fungal axes, but with a fire buff, because you can see that I'm getting bleed and poison from those. But thanks to Heavenly Vials and Sanctuary, I'm able to just wipe that off, continue to get posture damage up, because I'm using the amulet that where holy damage has increased posture damage, and because I have a halberd, I'm able to break their posture mid-light attack chain, so it makes it a lot harder for them to be able to attack. And I know how to dodge that hammer, because my goodness, have I faced that hammer a lot. and in the guard break attack, I also have enough hyper armor to just kind of swing through some stuff, which is great. And then, as you can see, Radiating Orb took down all of that, all of that withered health, posture gone, and there we go for another victory. Yeah, the meta of aura buffing and just having really strong weapons with like weapon buffs and auras, it's strong. I just I poke fun at it because I don't think it has a lot of, and I don't think it has a lot of variety. Um, but how it does, in all seriousness, lack ranged engagement power. And although this is probably one of the meanest setups I've run in Lords, it's by no means unbeatable. It doesn't have like steady pressure, like steady, consistent pressure is it's what you need. Um, and if I'm able to break people up with spells and separate them and whittle away at their posture and finish things either with a Grievous Strike or status build up, it can be absolutely devastating. Um, and if you guys want, please feel free to copy it to use it as a base for your setups and make more silly stuff because the meta's kind of boring, and it'd be nice to see some more variety. Because at least with setups like this, you can choose what spells and weapon. Like there's more spell and weapon variety, and what you can use in all the battery setups. And I do think that they have better longevity for PvE as well compared to the auras. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully I'll catch you in another one. See ya!